See, I feel like the problem within the music business is that there's no map. There's no one correct or best way to go about being a success in music. It's very much an individualized path. But the thing is that you've got a lot of artists out there, maybe more now than ever before, who just are doing a little bit here, doing a little bit there, and they kind of hope it works out.
Right.
They're not following any kind of game plan. They don't have any kind of blueprint. And if you're going to build a house, you would need a blueprint. You would need to know where to start with what you're doing. But that's about the opposite approach that most artists take. Most artists, they got their creative thing down. They're doing what they're doing there. But the rest of the strategy and game plan for the rest of it, a lot of artists just aren't built that way to be able to be very proficient in those areas. And so I feel like in the philosophy that I have, in the blueprint that I want to share with you guys tonight, it's one way. Okay, it's a way that can help. Like I said before, there's no guarantee for success in this business, but I feel like, hey, if you're going to take your shot, you're going to put yourself out there, you might as well give yourself the best chance for succeeding that you can. Because I hope I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know and telling you that actually the odds are against you. Okay, the odds are against you. But if you're going to take your shot, you might as well take the best shot you can by having all of your bases covered. And so I want to present here what are my 7 keys that consist of the blueprint for music success. And the first 6 of these keys are what I call root activities. And what I mean by that is a little concept that goes, it's your roots that determine your fruits. See, because we all want the fruits of our labor, right?
Right.
We all want, see our name in lights. We all want the publicity. Or maybe it's the money, the groupies. We all want the fruits of our labor, right? But you don't get the fruits by focusing on the fruits. You get the fruits by focusing on your roots. It's in how you take care of yourself physically, mentally, emotionally. It's how you know yourself. It's how you define your sound. It's how you master your craft. It's how you build your image, how you master your live performance. All these things are root activities that I feel if you can focus on them, you give yourself the best chance for attracting the fruits that you desire. So the first root activity, first key, is to know yourself deeply. My philosophy on how to build a rock star image, when I say image, I'm not talking about your hairstyle, not really talking about the shirt you're wearing. Okay, I'm talking about your overall vibe. I'm talking about your public image. My philosophy in building a rock star image is to have you look within. Harness what really makes you great, and then have you express that to the fullest. My version of a rock star image is about getting clarity on who you are as a person, so that your image and everything that you're about is just a natural reflection of who you are on the inside. It's not about pretending. It's not about being something that you're not. I'm talking about literally creating your image from the inside out, cultivating the best that you have. See, image building is all about portraying who you are in a compelling way. It's about being able to engage people. So how can you do that if you first don't clearly know who you are? So I feel it starts with knowing yourself deeply, so that in just being yourself, you connect to others. You project your best image because you tapped into what you love about yourself and what you're doing, and you're just expressing it. See, I feel it's through that kind of self-expression that's led other rock stars to their success and can lead you to the success that you deserve. See, I feel that all you have to do to be a success in this business is to be yourself. But be yourself fully. Most people are scared to death to be who they really are 100% of the time. But you see, it's your uniqueness that sets you apart. So how can you embrace what makes you, you? And I feel it starts with knowing yourself deeply as a way to do that. What are your greatest strengths? What are your quirks? What's weird about you? One of your quirks could make you wildly successful. But it's about knowing those things about you so that you can embrace them and put them forth. The second key of the blueprint to music success is to know what you stand for. Let me put some people on the spot here for a second. What would you say if I asked you what the message is in your music?
My messages?
Yeah, what's your message?
Well, that my music's about my life experiences, so just to be strong, I guess, depending on the song.
Okay, to be strong.
Mm-hmm.
Good start. Good. Great. What's the message in your music?
Is it positive, negative? Does it affect people? Does it touch people's lives?
Okay, so does it affect people's lives? Got it. Is it positive or negative? Got it. What's the message in your music?
Happiness.
Happiness. What about happiness?
Wow. All kind of happiness.
Okay. All right. See, I feel like one of the things that separates great artists from pretty good ones is that you know what the great ones stand for. Look at artists like U2. You know, I got to go see them twice on their last Vertigo tour. Second time I got to actually be within the ellipse. Like my general admission ticket got scanned and got to take my sister, and it was amazing. Got to be inside the ellipse around the, like right next to the stage. And I don't know how many times Bono said the words beauty, one, or love that night, but it was a lot. Okay? And it's like, you know, if he's figured out what he wants to say and he says it, using chords that either you and I can play, then they say it again in a slightly different way.
Right.
Okay? And, you know, Bono can sing a little bit. He's got a decent voice. The guy's got one, you know, they've got one great tune after the next, but I feel like it's the message behind what he's singing is the reason why there wasn't one person sitting down for a minute of either of those concerts. So in the same way, how can you define your message? You know, even if it doesn't have to be love and truth and beauty, okay? Like, you guys know that Kiss went into the studio and wrote, I want to rock and roll all night and party every day after a producer asked them in the late 70s. You know, I don't know what you guys stand for. What are you guys about? What are you guys really about? They went to the studio and they're like, yeah, what are we about? Oh, that's what we're about. So even if your message is just one of fun, I feel it's about being able to articulate that message. In the coaching that I do with people, one of the first exercises I give them is an exercise around your lyrics that has you get very clear on what your message really is and how you can articulate that message. Because even if most people will never really come out, journalist isn't just going to come and ask you what the message is in your music. That's way too direct. But you've got to know. For so many reasons. You know, when you're in your live show, you've got to say something sometimes between the songs, right? You can't say something between every song, but you've got to pick and choose your moments. If you've only got a few moments there, you better make them count. So it should be something in line with your message, what you stand for. If you guys are blogging or video blogging, you know, it's got to be there. One of the things that I do with artists on the image consulting side is I provide media training for them so they can portray themselves to the media in their most compelling way. And in media training, it's all about identifying what your key message points are. Well, how can you do that if you don't know what your overall message is? So there's so many benefits to just really understanding what your message is. What do you stand for as an artist? And how can you get clear on that? Any questions about that? No? Okay, good.
I got one.
Yes.
Do we always have to have the same message?
Do you always have to have the
She said she
same
works-
message?
She, like, her songs are about her life, you know? But what if, your life changes, or, you know?
As it probably will.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, well, see, this is the thing. A message is something that should be universal. But I figure out once you've understood what your message is, then you want to explore every nook and cranny of that message and what you're doing. But the overall guiding principle, it should fit there. And the thing is that it's important to do this when you are about to launch one project. And I'm going to get into a little bit more of this when I talk about imaging. That, like, for right now, figure out what the message is. Figure out what the key messages that you want to communicate. And don't change too much, like, right now. You know, if you notice, you know, what someone does when they're already successful is then they come up with another album. And hopefully, they're asking themselves, who am I now? This is the beauty of Madonna. Okay? The genius is not that she changes her image all the time, we all know that, but that she's actually true to herself at every turn, for the most part. She's actually asking herself, who am I now? What's my concept now? And how can I be true to that? And so as a message, as you change, because you should evolve. We should, right?
Like
But-
your J-Block, maybe, like how you went through all those.
Absolutely. You know, and it's about being able to ask yourself, who am I now? What's my message? What's my image about? What's my concept? And how can I remain true to that for this time period? And I feel like that's what's key, is that you don't want to change too much when you're really trying to get known as just that one thing. And I'm going to go more into this in more the image consulting part, but the message part really falls in there too. Yes?
So like when you work with a client, like you said something very specific. I'm assuming that's the sort of stuff you do. It gets more specific because you said figure out your message and then explore every nook and cranny of that. Like you know what I
Yes.
mean? Like that's the sort of work that you do with your clients, like getting more and more specific and in depth.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Like we would actually sit down and the exercise, I'll give it away to you guys, is to identify the top 5 lines in your music. Like, you know the lines when you sing them, you feel them more than any other? You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay? Those 5. And then I'll have you identify your top 5 lyrics of all time. Now you might have 50, but you got to only choose 5. Okay? And then we talk about those. And I give you a bit of my intuition in the one-on-one coaching, and we distill those messages. We distill and get to the, we kind of get to the essence of what that's about. And, I help you create it. And what I do is very much a collaborative approach. I never tell anybody what the image is. It's me working with you.